And what we eat is really our chemotherapy 3 times a day.
彼の名前はウィリアム・リー。ハーバード大学を卒業し、その後も同大学で教員などを務めた医師であり、研究者でもあります。彼は食事を薬として活用するフードアズメディスンという考えを提唱し、私たちが食べるものは1日に3回体に取り入れる薬だと語っています。
But actually, a lot of cancers are preventable. Just the food, but food actually, we now know there are certain foods that can actually have a pretty profound effect.
彼の研究は多くの専門家や医療関係者から高く評価され、食事と健康の深い関係を伝える存在として CNN やタイム誌などこれまで多くのメディアに取り上げられてきました。また彼の著書 Eat to Beat Disease 健康食大全はアメリカでベストセラーになり、ニューヨークタイムズブックレビューにも掲載されています。この本ではがん抑制や認知症予防に役立つ200以上の食品の科学的証拠を示し、人々の食生活に大きな影響を与えています。今回はウィリアム・リー博士の長年の研究をもとに、食べ物がどのように薬として機能し、がんのような病気から体を守るかを重点的に紹介。また、リー博士が多くのセミナーや講演で言及する5つのスーパーフルーツについても解説していきます。若返り健康生活 TV、リーフィラボです。食べ物は薬。
Diet accounts for 30 to 35% of environmentally caused cancers. And in fact, we're probably forming these microscopic cancers all the time in our body. Autopsy studies from people who died in car accidents have shown that about 40% of women between the ages of 40 and 50 actually have microscopic cancers in their breasts. About 50% of men in their 50s and 60s have microscopic prostate cancers. And virtually 100% of us, by the time we reach our 70s, will have microscopic cancers growing in our thyroid.
それでは、がんを予防するにはどうすればよいのでしょうか？
That food, in fact, is really one of the most powerful healthcare interventions that we can do for ourselves, because food is the medicine that we put into our body 3 times a day. That's called food is medicine. You put good stuff into your body's going to last longer. It's not food versus medicine, it's food and medicine that can help our treatments work better.
ウィリアム・リー博士は、この知識を広めるために、食べ物を薬として活用することに関する本を書きました。この本には、健康に良い200種類の食品が紹介されていますが、今回の動画では、その中でも特に注目されている5つの果物を紹介します。果物の効果。多くのセミナーやインタビューで、リー博士は特定のフルーツについて頻繁に言及しています。1、トマト。
The first one is the tomato. Some of you might think that tomato is a vegetable, right? But it's actually a fruit.
リー博士はトマトと血管形成の関係について説明しています。腫瘍は新しい血管を作ることで酸素や栄養を取り込み成長します。しかし、血管が作られなければ、それ以上大きくなることはできません。そのため、血管形成を抑えることで、がんの予防につながると考えられています。そして、トマトにはその働きがあるとされています。また、リー博士は、トマトをただ食べるだけでは、効果が限定的になると語っています。調理方法により、健康効果を引き出す必要があるとも述べています。
Tomatoes have something called lycopene. And lycopene, when you put it into that ring system, guess what? Shuts down the tumor blood vessels like nobody's business. This is from the health professionals' follow-up study of 46,000 men, and what this followed over 25 years. And they found that those men who had 2 to 3 servings of cooked tomatoes a week had a 30% decrease in the risk of developing prostate cancer. They're having lycopene, it's anti-androgenic, and when they actually looked at the men who actually had who did develop prostate cancer, they found at the microscopic level that those men who ate more servings of cooked tomatoes had less tumor angiogenesis, less blood vessels feeding them, correlated directly with the amount of tomatoes that they actually ate.
リコピンはそのまま食べても体に吸収されにくい性質を持っています。それではトマトの最適な食べ方とはどのようなものでしょうか？
But you're not going to get as much lycopene. You're probably only going to get maybe 20% of the lycopene that's in there. But you want to, like for me, I want to get as much of the good stuff as I can. So here's what research has found.
if you wanted to convert that chemical structure of lycopene into a form that you can absorb better, your body can avidly absorb, what you want to do is you want to heat the tomato like in a pan, and with the heat will change the chemical structure from a form your body doesn't absorb that well into a form that your body avidly absorbs, loves to absorb it. Now you go from 20% absorption to 80% absorption. You flipped it around completely, upended that equation completely. Now you're really absorbing it. Now, here's one additional thing though. How would you heat a tomato in a pan? You heat it in water or nothing? No, not really. You put a little bit of olive oil in it. And why is that? And it's because lycopene is a substance that we call fat soluble. It's a lipid. It loves to dissolve into fats. Now, when you eat that tomato sauce sauteed in olive oil, the olive oil with the lycopene is carried into your body even more efficiently than if it were cooked in water.
2. 梨
This is a pear, and the reason pears are so great are the fact that they've got chlorogenic acid, which is a bioactive, also found in apples, that can actually activate your metabolism and help you burn down harmful body fat. And chlorogenic acid is also anti-angiogenic, means it actually stops blood vessels from growing to tumors. Pretty cool.
トマトでの説明でも紹介しましたが、腫瘍の血管新生を防ぐことができれば、がん予防への効果が期待できます。博士は、梨に含まれるクロロゲン酸には、腫瘍にできる血管が成長するのを防止する効果が期待できると述べています。また、梨に含まれる豊富な食物繊維も重要です。
One of the things that I love about pears is that it's got a lot of dietary fiber. So an average pear has got about 5 or 6 grams of dietary fiber per pear. And a study from MD Anderson showed that just having that amount of dietary fiber can lower the risk of tumor progression or death by about 30% in one study where they looked at people with melanoma on immunotherapy. And so here is actually a food that can actually make medical treatments work better. Dietary fiber, pear, one of my favorites.
3. キウイ。がんは細胞の DNA に突然変異が生じることで発生します。私たちの体の細胞は分裂や増殖を繰り返しながら古い細胞を入れ替えていますが、この過程で DNA に突然変異が起こると細胞が正常に機能しなくなることがあります。
So mutations that form actually all the time, most people don't know this, but they're not bothered by them. On average, a typical person has 10,000 mistakes made in their DNA every 24 hours.
通常、体には DNA の修復機能が備わっており、異常があれば修復したり、細胞自体を自滅させたりして、異常な細胞の増殖を防ぎます。しかし、DNA の損傷が修復されずに蓄積すると、細胞の分裂や増殖の制御が効かなくなり、異常に増殖するがん細胞が生まれます。
Yeah, well, so some amazing research has been done looking at which foods can help protect our DNA, and it's ordinary, like a kiwi. A kiwi is packed with vitamins and antioxidants, and it's been shown that eating just one kiwi a day can actually cause your blood to be fortified to neutralize about 60% of the incoming damage from DNA. And if you eat 3 kiwis a day, actually will help your DNA build itself back up so that damaged DNA will be repaired.
4. パパイヤ。
Papaya has been shown to actually lower the risk of lung cancer. Now, why is that? Well, that red color in papaya contains carotenoids, something called beta-cryptoxanthin and beta-carotene. And these actually are also anti-inflammatory, and you guessed it by now, you get the drift, it's actually anti-angiogenic as well. It's not very sweet, which is an advantage if you need to watch the amount of sugar you eat. And speaking of sugar, sugar in fruit is perfectly fine for most people. All right, don't eat too much of it, eat a reasonable amount of it, and the whole fruit is always going to be easier on your metabolism because it has less sugar in it than having the juice. So I always recommend having papaya fruit as opposed to papaya juice if you're going to actually enjoy papaya.
5. ザクロ。次に、リー博士が頻繁に言及する果物はザクロです。
They're heavy. And you know why they're heavy? Because they're filled with seeds that around every seed is a little bit of liquid, and that's pomegranate juice. Now, these seeds and pomegranate juice are packed with bioactives. These are naturally occurring chemicals that give foods their biological punch. Okay, this is what you eat to beat disease. Are these foods with these bioactives? And in pomegranate, they're called elagitannins. So, what do elagitannins do? Well, they do a couple of things. Pomegranate elagitannins have been shown to cut off the blood supply to tumors, all right, starve cancer, anti-angiogenic, and in fact, clinical studies have even been done in men with prostate cancer showing that pomegranate juice can actually slow down the rise of PSA.
PSA とは前立腺で生成されるタンパク質の一種です。前立腺がんになると上昇し、主要マーカーとして使用されます。
For men who are actually having their PSA go up, having pomegranate juice pretty much kept them at a cruising altitude so they wouldn't actually keep rising. Pretty amazing, right? Is that the elagitannins, which you eat, trickles down your gut, goes down to your lower gut, your colon, and it stimulates your colon to produce natural mucus. When your colon secretes mucus, mucin, it helps a natural healthy gut bacteria called Akkermansia muciniphila. This is one of your best friends of gut bacteria because Akkermansia, when it comes to cancer, talks to your immune system, makes your immune system a lot beefier and stronger in the battle against cancer. So here's
食事を楽しむことの重要性。リー博士の考え方は何を食べるかだけでなく、食事自体を楽しむことの重要性についても語っています。
We in America sit down and we're gobbling food, we're complaining about things we're eating with somebody else, we're kvetching about some problems going on, we're eating fast, there's way too much food in front of us, all right, and you don't even realize what you've eaten. It might taste good, but you're not thinking about it.
皆さんは地中海式ダイエットという言葉を聞いたことがありますか？イタリア、ギリシャなどの地中海地域での食習慣であり、これらの地域の人たちは慢性疾患のリスクが低いことで知られています。博士はかつてイタリアでホームステイをした際、ホストファミリーの食事の取り方にカルチャーショックを受けました。それは博士が育ったアメリカとは全く違うものでした。
By yourself, you would always eat with a friend or a family member or a coworker, and when the food comes, you're not kvetching or complaining about your boss or the family or the weather or the sports team. Man, this pasta was just like my mother made. Is this the right season for it? Yeah, you should see the mushrooms that we have. How do you make it? People would talk about their food. Okay, the food that was not just something that was shoved in front. You would engage with the food, and when you're eating the food, you would taste the food and talk about the food, and people would enjoy the actual part of eating. The enjoyment of the food, the mindfulness was completely different.
食事はただ空腹を満たすためのものではなく、人生を豊かにする大切な時間です。味わいながら食事と向き合うことで、私たちは心も体も健康になれるのです。また、リー博士は健康を維持するためには、まず食を愛し、楽しむことが重要だと考えています。
Love your food to love your health. That's my big belief. I think that everyone can have joyful eating if you follow your preferences and just be mindful that you should just really enjoy and savor the healthy food that you already love.
忙しい日々の中で、私たちはつい食べることをないがしろにしてしまいがちです。でも、今日から少しだけ立ち止まって自分の好きな食べ物を大切にし、味わい楽しんでみませんか？毎日の食事をちょっと意識するだけで暮らしの質が変わるかもしれません。皆さんのお気に入りの健康的な食べ物は何ですか？ぜひコメントで教えてください。今日も最後までご視聴していただきありがとうございました。若返り健康生活 TV リーフィラボでした。